Yeah, Pioneer is an exploration and mining company with an exciting portfolio of lithium, gold and nickel assets. We've got a small but experienced board, including myself, a skillful and enthusiastic geological team and field assistants, and they're backed up and supported by some of Perth's best specialists, technical specialists. We've got a market cap of about 17 million, just over $4.5 million in the bank, so we're well funded. And we've got an exciting portfolio of projects that we want to explore and develop. Yeah, cesium is one of the rarest sort of commercial minerals that I've ever come across. We're aware of only 2 other primary cesium deposits in the world that have been mined, and at present no mines are operating, so no cesium is being produced. We were successful in discovering cesium in 2016. We mined it in 2018, early 2019, and generated $10 million cash operating surplus for us, so it was very successful. Cesium is turned into a heavy liquid called cesium formate, and that gets used in the oil and gas industry as a drilling and completion fluid. It's also used as turned into cesium chemicals, which are high value and very specialist in terms of their usage, primarily by pharmaceutical companies and R&D firms. An example is cesium being used in atomic clocks, and they're now being adapted as part of infrastructure for 5G networks as a synchronization tool. Well, we have to step through the processes, so we'll drill some more to determine with confidence how much more cesium is there. We need to determine the best mining method, whether that's a sort of a targeted, narrow underground approach or an open pit cutback. And of course, it has to make sense from an economic perspective. What we're really interested to look into is value adding. So rather than just selling crushed cesium ore, we want to look at actually producing those fine cesium chemicals and yielding extra dollars from the sale of those products. Look, it's too early to say with any sort of degree of confidence the cost and timing, but conceptually it'll be a lot less than stage 1. We're talking about mining 2,000 tonnes versus 20,000 tonnes. If it's via underground mining, it'll be a fraction of the $7.5 million we spent in stage 1. If we just sell crushed ore, I reckon we could start mining in the March quarter next year. If we look at value adding, then we have to build a process plant, and that'll take a bit longer. Yeah, Pioneer Dome North is a lithium area that we discovered in mid-2019. It's about 18 kilometres north of the Sinclair mine. It's been drilled out for the first time in August. We produced our maiden resource 3 months later in November of 8 million tonnes at 1.23% lithium. And we're very excited about that project, and we're currently drilling at the moment in and around the resource area to try and find more mineralised pegmatites. We'll use the air core drilling that we're just completing now to further target resource drilling, and that'll take place during the September quarter. Yeah, look, Pioneer's been very assiduous with some of the ground that it's pegged, and 3 areas have been farmed out to some really high, class large companies such as Northern Star. They're a joint venture partner in our Accra project, which is just north of Kalgoorlie. The mid-tier Canadian firm Novo Resources are our JV partner, along with Sumitomo Corporation, in our Kangan project in the Pilbara, and they're making some fantastic progress. And we've also JV'd what we thought was a small prospect next door to Black Cat Syndicate's Myrie gold deposit, and they're actually making some really fast progress towards a feasibility study on that. Yeah, look, Pioneer's had the Blair nickel mine since 2012. Blair was a very successful nickel sulfide mine. It ceased production in 2008, but it's surrounded by some pretty prospective ground for gold and nickel. Incidentally, the Pioneer Dome, which was the flagship project for Pioneer when it listed in 2003, was a nickel play. And we've been trolling through old records, just reappraising the Pioneer Dome. And for example, Newmont drilled Pioneer Dome looking for gold, presumably, and found nickel sulfide. So there's some really good prospectivity on Pioneer Dome for nickel and also for gold. The reality at the moment is that the world is increasingly wanting companies to take on ESG principles and to adopt clean and green methodologies in the way they conduct their activities. We want to be a part of that future, and Essential Metals is positioning ourselves to be producing metals that are essential for the future, including production of lithium for lithium batteries, gold for solar panels, etc. We want to take this opportunity to sort of draw a line in the sand and reposition the company for that future. In terms of the share consolidation, unfortunately we've been tracking around 1 cent per share for quite a while. Typically day traders like our stock because they can move it up and down by 10% relatively easily. So I'd like to see us push towards a higher barrier that attracts more fundamental investors rather than day traders. Yeah, look, we're running pretty hard at the moment. We've got some more drilling to do at the Dome North Lithium project, which will hopefully result in an expansion of our current resource. We need to advance our thinking and understanding of the Sinclair mine. That'll involve initially more drilling during the September quarter. We want to progress our Blair nickel mine and Golden Ridge project for nickel, and we're also on the lookout and have been for a while now on other assets that we can add into our portfolio that make sense.